Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Kirkpatrick. I'm the CEO and founder of Avery Professional Group. I have a guest today, Dr. Francois De Wet, who is the Territorial Chief of Staff for the entire territory of Nunavut. Welcome, Dr. De Wet.
Good morning, Kevin. It's nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, what I thought we'd do is obviously Nunavut is a large area and a very northern environment, and I thought I would ask first kind of how it is that you landed in Nunavut, and then if we'll discuss kind of the things that you've done to recruit to Nunavut, and what's worked and what the challenges are, and kind of what things we think we can do in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a fairly long journey. I'm a South African originally. I worked in Newfoundland for 25 years after I came out of med school. I came to Canada in 1993, and while I was in Newfoundland, I had some progressive leadership roles within Central Health, which was the regional health authority in Newfoundland. And then this opened up in Nunavut, and I was always interested in the north, so I decided to come and check it out. And after visiting Iqaluit, I actually really fell in love with the place, and I'm really happy with the move that I made to the north. It's a very challenging practice, but it's also extremely rewarding with what we do and what we do in the territory.
So how long have you been in Nunavut now then?
I'm in my 5th year now, so I came in 2018, and it will be on this 19th of September. It'll be 5 years.
Nice, excellent. What let's start with the positive. What is the most rewarding things that you find working in Nunavut and being a medical leader and a physician leader in Nunavut?
I think that the biggest satisfaction is that the work that we do. I mean, Nunavut is a completely Inuit territory. We've got pretty much 80 to 90% of the population are Inuit, and it's a joy to provide care for people in the territory. There's a lot of challenges with housing and the social determinants of health. We still have active TB in a lot of communities, but the ability to go out and provide care in people's communities and support them in communities is extremely rewarding. The other big advantage of working in a territory like Nunavut is that as a family physician, you work to your full scope. It's not just limited to seeing people in clinics. You can do emergency work, you can do obstetrics, you can work as a hospitalist, you can do remote support for communities. You can go to communities and provide in-community work as well. So it's just a wide range of job opportunities in Nunavut. You can work as a family physician to full scope. As a specialist, there's challenges as well, of course. We've got 3 specialties in the territories. We have obstetrics and gynecology, which is a new service we started last year. Then we have pediatrics and surgery. The surgery team also supports the obstetric team when we do not have obs-gyne available in territory. But I think it's the wide range of work, the population. It's a very good place to work overall.
Awesome. What tactics have you found, and what efforts have you found have been the most successful in recruiting to the territory?
I think the most successful tactic for us has been to bring people into Nunavut to work here for short periods of time, to kind of experience the work environment, experience the hospital and the work that we do here for themselves. I find that, when people think about Nunavut and they think about it's cold, it's Arctic, 6 months of winter with darkness. But when you actually come here and you realize what a good place it is to work, what a collegial place it is to work, people tend to stay. The other thing, too, that we've done is to encourage locums to sign up for longer periods of time. So we've moved to contracts where You can give us 75 days a year or 110 days a year, and then you tell us when you're available to come and work for us, and we'll try and accommodate as much as we can. The other big thing that we do for physicians at the moment is to support physicians, from a customer service perspective. So if someone misses a flight, we have a team that's on call 24 hours a day that can rebook your flight or get you a hotel when you're stuck at somewhere. And my team can help troubleshoot even in territory if there's issues with housing or if physicians need anything. So I think it's part of it is to support physicians as much as we can. The other part of it is to encourage people to come up and see for themselves. Another way that we found that we get a lot of goodwill is by supporting further education for physicians, whether it's going for the CCFP EM exam or GP oncology or GP anesthesia. We tend to support people as well. The last big initiative that we use that we found extremely successful is to bring residents in. We have a good relationship with several universities, including University of Ottawa, where we now have medical seats for Nunavut as well. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But we have a relationship with Memorial University of Ottawa University, NOSM, and University of Manitoba. And I find that exposing students and residents to the North at an early stage helps people to see it as a possible place where they want to come and work. And we see a lot of recruitment out of the residency programs as well. The last thing, the initiative that we've done is we do not currently have Inuit physicians living in the territory. We have one Inuit physician, Dr. Lane Killebach, who's an internal medicine specialist that works in the territory. But we also do not have other Inuit physicians. So we've got a partnership going with the University of Ottawa to provide medical school seats for Nunavut Inuit as well as Nunavummiut. That would be people that live in Nunavut. And we're hoping to build capacity. That's a long-term strategy to get more physicians from the territory to work in the territory.
Excellent. Excellent. Has anybody gone through that process yet, or is it just starting?
Yeah, it started last year, so that was our first application cycle. We've had 2 people from the territory that are going into medical school in the fall this year. So it's a good start, but there's still a lot of work to do, especially with the schools and with for example, with Nunavut Arctic College, to show people that medicine, and not just medicine, but also nursing, OT, PT, lab, all those things are viable careers for Nunavummiut. And to get people interested in that and get them excited about the ability to go into those fields.
Nice. And it's interesting with I've been recruiting physicians since 2004, and building relationships with trainers and people within the training process, whether med students or residents, is all of the most realistic tactics for recruiting, right? Like I remember talking to a community that had 19 residents come through, and they had retained and hired 17. Right? There are no other tactics, regardless of how much I can recruit and talk to people, that are going to give you that type of return, right? So I think and then going back to your tactics of locuming and exposing people to the territory and what it provides is a massive undertaking, right? So what type of physicians do you need right now, so we can let people know what you're looking for?
As I said before, we're always looking for family physicians, emergency room physicians, people with interest in obstetrics, GP anesthetists, as where we recruit on a regular basis. So any family doc that's interested in either doing, and again, you can come and do just hospitalists or do clinics or do community visits, work in the emergency room, become a hospitalist, obstetrics. There's a wide range of things you can do. Our surgery group is fully staffed at the moment. We have 3 full-time surgeons, and our pediatric group are doing well. We've got three pediatricians living in territory, and a couple of locums that comes back on a recurrent basis. The big need for us at the moment too is obstetrics gynecology. We are building that service. We have one full-time obstetrician gynecologist at the moment, Dr. Caitlin Carson, but we need to build more depth, I guess, or around them. So we're looking for people that are interested in coming up on a recurrent basis, maybe 3 to 4 weeks at a time, 3 or 4 times a year. Because what we found is that in terms of continuity of care and building a program, it's better to have the same people come back again and again than to have, a different locum in the hospital every week. Feedback we've got from patients as well is that, people say, I hate telling my story over and over and over again. But unfortunately, that is the reality when you have a high turnover with locums at the moment. But like I said, so family docs, any family physician that listens to this and want to have an adventure in the north, please reach out. And definitely any obstetric gynecology residents or staff or people that's already practicing, we'd love to talk to you.
It's interesting because I sat in on a webinar, I'm going to say about 3 weeks ago now, that was talking about, outside of healthcare, there's this notion of a gig economy, right, where people are working, project to project and stuff like that. And the conversation was around, should that apply to physicians and other healthcare people? And we know with nurses, there's a lot of nursing agencies where nurses, can work on contracts and are choosing to do so because of the flexibility and a better pay rate. But the concept was, we have a structure with locums, and do we and should we as a system start accepting locums better and push for things like pan-Canadian licensure and stuff like that? Because sometimes the ability to work in multiple places is the same as taking a break, right? And so, a lot of the new physicians I've found that I talk to want a locum because they don't want to, start somewhere and then build a roster and then be, I don't want to say tied into, but be committed to a community before they've had a chance to see different areas. And, with some of our northern communities, both Northern Ontario and Iqaluit and Nunavut and stuff like that, are using locums to do that. And I think what you're doing fits with the demographic of what physicians want. And then on top of that, if you're able to find someone to take over your practice, you may jump on that but may want to still continue to work. So you can locum for several years. And I talked to an anesthesiologist this week that has done exactly that. Pseudo retired and then is working in the schedule that they want, when they want and where they want, right? So I think that's definitely a wise opportunity, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would argue, Kevin, that the gig economy is already with us for physicians. We have several physicians that they have no fixed practice. They work with us. They work in NWT. They work in Yukon. They work in Northern Manitoba, and they rotate through. And I think that's part of the problem that especially the northern parts of the provinces and definitely the territories have, is that we're all competing for the same locum group or the same people. It's because, like I said, most of the docs that I have working with us in Iqaluit also work in places like Inuvik or Moose Factory or NWT or Whitehorse, or Yukon. And a lot of those physicians have no interest in having a practice where they have staff and they have overhead and they have to pay rent and stuff like that. And I think that's the advantage of locums, is that it's a turnkey operation. You come in, you see patients, you get paid, you leave, and that's your commitment. So I think the idea that every nook and cranny is going to have a full-time physician, every small community, it's a pipe dream at the moment. I think we have to look at what is the most effective way to provide quality health care, both in smaller communities, but also in underserviced areas like the territories and Nunavut specifically.
Well, and I think the other piece too is, like, I think we need to build a larger plan that identifies the trends and identifies what we need, because I don't believe that the number of residency spots and the number of medical school spots relate and equate to what our needs are, right? And it's, in my company, we recruit from the United States, we recruit from the UK, and bring people to Canada on a regular basis. But even then, there's still not enough, right? Like it's, and then on top of that, we're just literally, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And until we start looking at different ways, and that's why I like the notion of your program to encourage people from Nunavut to go to medical school, like that might not have chosen that route in the past. So now, if we can encourage more people to go into medicine, and I think that's definitely something that we need to look at. So
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it is that, like I said, the big thing I think is we have to understand that we have to kind of cater. We may want 20 more full-time physicians in Iqaluit, but the reality is that we're probably going to have 40 locums that's going to come and go. And I think that the more we build that system so that it's more attractive for locums and to stay for longer times and to come back. So, part of it is you have to bring people to expose them to where you are and where you're living. But the second thing too is to create an environment where they're comfortable, happy, and they enjoy life and they want to come back to. So I think it's a two thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Brian McLean is a very experienced physician recruiter that I know, and he made a comment on the LinkedIn feed about how sometimes people coming back to their community, and he works in northern Saskatchewan with Dene, Cree, and Métis, and knowing doctors that have gone back to their home communities only to find the familiarity with the population and the personal relationships and stuff make it different. So, I think we have to constantly focus on not only recruitment but retention and onboarding, right? And I think that taking care of the physicians and ensuring that we're looking at both their clinical careers but also their interpersonal careers and stuff like that, I think have to be done. And I think and when I've helped you recruit in the past, I've worked with your team, and I think that's a benefit that your team has, is they do take care of things, and they do take care of the people that are in the process, probably more than most of my other clients. Like they definitely are involved, and there's definitely a white glove treatment. So I think that's definitely moving in the right direction. So I'm well aware of how busy of a gentleman and busy you are. So I'd like to end it on that point. But if anybody wants introductions to Nunavut, feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to make an introduction to Francois. And I appreciate your time today, and you're always a great person to talk to. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you, Kevin. It was nice talking to you. Have a good day too as well.
Take care.
Bye.